All right, so we're gonna get started with the content for today. Good morning to everybody who has tuned in. Welcome to our advanced user forums. I'm Patrick again. We're gonna be going over web quotes, call off orders, and quantity price breaks. We're going to show you how to add quotes to the web and demo a couple of new features. We can demonstrate how customers can call off items from the web and save you the task of um, having to reorder things for them, allowing them to be able to place orders, any hour of the day. Also, how to set up things like price breaks and encourage customers to buy larger quantities at a time. Like I said before, Chris is going to be available in the chat to answer some questions as I cover our content on screen. You can access that chat by hovering over the bottom border of the display window and click on that link for the chat pop-up. After I cover the content for today, we'll unmute everybody and open the floor for about 15 minutes of questions. So for today's session, to start us off, we're going to be spending time in three major areas. We have our sales order section, SOP, the customer dashboard for our web users, and a brand new section in Prima client for price breaks. So to start us off, we have in the quote area, for everyone's records, if you want to make a new quote, you can always use this new record button and be able to make a brand new sales quotation here. If you want to create it, it will give you the same pop-up as with the sales order. You can search for your company name, add a reference, select the contact and location that you want to do with it. Once you have created said quote, you will be able to view the contents of it on your web quote. Um, what we'll do is we'll make a brand new one, and I'll show you how that's going to look. So with our sales quote, we can open up our new one and select our company that we want to work with. Throw in a reference if you need it, and select the user that we want to use it for. So I'll create this new outstanding web quote, and we can go ahead and add items onto it just like we do with our sales orders. We can look up our product with our search option here, add in our items, give us the opportunity to see our quantities and our prices and everything. And if we want to save, we can always click outside of the red highlighted box, hit our save option, or you can use Control S for those of y'all who like to use keyboard commands. Once we've created this quote and added some items onto it, if we hop over to the header detail tab, this is where we're going to be able to make the quote available on the web store. So if we select this option here for web quote, that is the first step that we need to do. The second step is going to be choosing how you want your customer to take care of it. So if we require a customer approval, this will mean that Joseph, this user, is going to be able to see this when he logs in. As we do the requires customer approval and select our web quote, we can again Control S or save, and that is going to prompt us to send out an email to Joseph. The person who is going to get this quote will be able to see a copy of whichever version of the quote you want to send them. I'm just going to select their standard sales quote, and you'll see that it's going to pop up the window to show the contents of the quote, give them a PDF that they can view, and allow them to approve or make changes to that quote online. So they'll be able to see an email as well as follow it up with checking on the website. And it will auto fill in some of these options down here, showing how they can log in and view their quote on the website. And that will be what we'll show next. So once you're done sending this out, you can close that out and it will save that change and show that it will require their approval. And let's hop over to the web store where we can view that. So if Joseph has logged into his account, he'll be able to see on this drop down that we can log in and view our quotes. The quotes, if there are any that are outstanding requiring his approval, will now show up here. If there are no quotes for them to check on, this quotes bar will disappear. But since we have some, we can go in and take a look at his quotes. And you'll see that on this list, any of the outstanding quotes that are still required for his approval will become available. So for example, this quote here that we have added in will show that we have 22 added onto here, just the same as in the quote. And this will allow him to either accept it, requote it, or reject it. This process is just allowing him to review the items and choose if he wants that. If he accepts this quote, it's going to take him to the checkout screen where he can process the order as normal under whatever purchase methods they typically go through. Then it will come through to Prima as a sales order. So they can put in order references, any notes that they want to add, or they could just request a requote if, say, it is not the right pricing. Inside Prima, you'll see that the quotes will then get updated to show as a sales order once they do decide to approve of it. So if we were to check out, oops. Once they do check out, it will generate a quote and complete it and make it a outstanding sales order. So you'll see that they'll get the regular confirmation like they do normally, and it will send it over to Prima. That's the basics of the quotes. Just a reminder again, we've got the chat available for Chris to answer your questions. We'll also have Andrea and Steve on later if you have any further questions and can't get to it. After the quote has been taken care of and say you have a completed order, we have an area for our quantity breaks and sales orders. So let's go into our brand new area, this price break feature. So in our price breaks, I'll open this up fresh again. In our price breaks, we will start off with kind of a blank area. You can hit your search option and view any that are already set up. And this area is just kind of a landing page for the price breaks. You'll see down here at the bottom, we've got some options for setting up your quantities and the prices that you'd like to sell things at. For example, we've added in our UNV paper here to encourage people to buy in, counts of 10. So you can use this to add up to 5 different quantities to purchase by. So if you want to encourage them to buy it almost by the pallet, you could change up your number of results. Say we wanted to encourage them to buy in pallets, you can use your drop down here and add as many listings as you'd like. So say we wanted to encourage everyone to buy up to 50. We could go for all of these options. And once you have updated those values, you can also check that it is enabled on the web store and they will be able to see those prices immediately. So once we save, it will now have all of those quantities in there. If we want to add a new listing, you can always look for a new code. Like for example, I will look for a red stapler here, and we've got some options. So if we don't have a quantity break on this swing line stapler right here, we can click on that row. We can click that we want to enable it, and we want to tell how many values. So if we are wanting to sell more of these staplers or encourage people to buy a pair, right now it will show you the calculated selling price and the calculated costs. So if we have a selling price of $39.11, let's encourage people to buy more of them. So say we put it at $40 even, or $30 or $39.99. If we want to encourage them to buy, say, 5 of them, let's give them a good price to do so. So maybe we take it down to $34.99. And once we've saved those 2 quantities that we want to encourage somebody to buy under, we can save right here, and that is immediately enabled on the web store. So if we want to have a customer be able to view those prices, we can grab our SKU right there and we can go search for it on our web store. Now, once you've returned the results, you'll be able to go into these price breaks and be able to view it. You can see that their quantities show up here. They'll be able to be encouraged to buy in 1 or 5 or buy in bulk. If they were to add all of them to their cart, they should be getting the pricing based on their value. And so they'll be able to quickly and easily add things to their cart, see what kind of pricing they're going to get, and be able to check out using those new options. It's pretty straightforward to set those up, and if you decide that you want to set up a few of these at a time, you can grab all of those items and be able to add your quantities in, and you don't have to enable them until you're ready to sell them at that price. So for example, if you have an entire list of items in, say, a mailer that you want to add quantity pricing to, you'll see that we've got a grid manager here that we can do the same thing with. We do have some enhancements that are on the way for this. This is just phase 1 of our price break options. You will get an opportunity later down the road to be able to search for products that, say, are already on a price break and make mass changes. You can look for anything that is in an existing mailer or an existing catalog if you wanted to use that, or if you wanted to look for specific codes or specific descriptions. Say if you were trying to make a big push on Lysol products or PPE products or anything like that, you'd be able to search those descriptions, and just like with the rest of the grid managers, you'll be able to view your results and manage it. You can change your number of results in here. Anything that is in this screen will then be able to be edited. In our change box, we've only got a couple of basic spots right here. First is updating the number of ranges to make it readily available, enabling or disabling, or just removing the price breaks themselves. So in the future, we will add more features onto these and more changes that you can apply. It will become a more useful tool for those that want to do quantity-based pricing on your mailers. And then if you make changes to those, they will apply to all customers that mailer is subscribed to. Just another reminder, I see the chat is popping up a little bit. If you still have other questions, feel free to jump in there and ask Chris or Andrea. They'll be able to help you out. The last thing that we wanted to go over is call-off orders. Call-off orders are going to be orders for a customer that may want to, say, buy things in bulk, like we've just encouraged them to do. Say, for example, your customer wants to buy an entire pallet of your UNV paper. We can create a sales order for them, and we can set up a call-off order, where then if they want to buy all 40 at a discounted rate, they can then decide that they only want to get 10 at a time, and they can request those deliveries whenever. So I will make up a new sales order for this customer and set up a call off. And we'll use Joseph again since we're already logged in as him. So with our call off orders, we can start out with our pricing right here. And you'll notice that when you first search for it and it has the quantity of 1, you'll see that we've got our $40 pricing on there. Now, as we add more to it, you'll notice that it's going to update those prices. And so now when we've gone to the 10 mark, we've now reduced our sell price to the 35. We go to 15, it'll stay at the same. Once we hit that 20 or 30 threshold, you'll see the price go down much more. So our more aggressive pricing will show up the more that they want to buy. And say if they wanted to get an entire pallet worth, they've got their option to see that right there. So as many different values as we want to put in there, we can do so. So if you want to go very aggressive with your pricing, you can do so. Once we save this change and add that to the order, we can go into our line detail, and this is going to be where we set up that call off order. So in our line detail, we have our delivery details here, and this is where we are going to tick this new button for call off order. This call off order is going to process as normal, and they could pay for all 40 at that discounted rate, and then we can set the sales order up to become available for their call offs. So once this is saved right here and we authorize the order, then that will go into requested. We can fulfill it as normal, and then Joseph will have the ability to call off orders as often as he needs to. For example, if he were to ring you up on the phone and decide that he wants to get 10 of his UNV paper that he's paid for delivered, you can call off the quantity here. And within this sales order, the same original sales order that it was processed under, you can hit the call off button. And that's going to allow him to get the 10 that were allocated or were on order for him to get delivered. It's not going to bill him again for those items. It's just going to start pushing that 10 quantity through your delivery system and allow you to get the product out to them. If he'd already paid for this and you'd already gotten it from, say, Ascendant, you would have those 40 in your warehouse, and all this call off would do is make them available to be put on a packing slip and sent out on your delivery trucks. If it's something that you need to order, it will go straight into your requirements and you can process through as normal. The quantities will then update as well to show how many are left on that call off, and you'll also be able to see some notes getting filled in for each of the times that they request those call offs. Now, this is also going to show up on the other side with the web browsing. So you'll notice that in the drop down, we also have a new area for call off orders. So for those of y'all that want to set up one of these types of orders, you'll be able to go in, and as the customer, they can view each of their call off orders. You'll see I've thrown in a couple of examples here. So Joseph has been buying a lot of paper. If he decides he wants some of his quantities on here, say he wants 15 this time, he'll be able to select the quantity that he wants to receive of his order and select the date that he wants it delivered. So say he wants to get 15 in on Monday and be able to restock his shelves, he can then use the call off button, and that will then update his totals and allow you to process it through Prima. And so as we push everything through to the next steps, you'll be able to see that his quantity remaining now has updated, and he only has 15 left on this particular order. So they can set up as many as they'd like, request call-offs whenever they'd like, and this is accessible 24/7 so that he can do those call-offs whenever. As with each of our other forums, we're about to open it up to discussion for everyone else.